Hi, Misha here, and this is my third episode in my look at Japanese warships. Started off looking at the pre-dreadnoughts from the Russo-Japanese War, and in episode 2 I looked at the Kongo or Konga class battleships. This is going to be a short video because this class really didn't do much, but it almost did. This is the Satsuma, so-called semi-dreadnought, but it nearly was the world's first all-big gun ship. In fact, the design came before HMS Dreadnought, but because Dreadnought was rushed into production, she beat her. Meaning by the time Satsuma and her sister ship Eki were launched, they were already obsolescent. But the original idea in Japan came about in 1904 during the Russo-Japanese War. Funding was approved for 2 new battleships, and these were to be all big gun ships, having 12 12-inch cannon, 12-inch guns, and turrets. They would have 6 twin turrets, which would have made them the first NB Dreadnought. Now, Satsuma was laid down in early 1905. Eki was laid down in early 1906. She was delayed because there wasn't a free slipway to construct her. These were also the first warships that the Japanese Navy, Japanese government, ordered from Japanese shipyards. Before that, they'd purchased designs built overseas. So already important there for the Japanese shipbuilding industry. That said, they did use a lot of imported parts and material, and of course lots of know-how from the UK. Unfortunately, the 12-inch gun concept didn't come to be. Because of budget constraints, and because they just didn't have enough guns, they ended up scaling them back to have 4 12-inch guns like the pre-dreadnoughts, and then having 12 10-inch guns, so smaller caliber, in 2-gun turrets in the center line. So nearly there, but not quite. Hence the semi-dreadnought. And then of course HMS Dreadnought came out, and construction on Satsuma was quite slow. She wasn't actually commissioned until 1910, by which time she was actually already considered obsolete. So much so that when Japan went to their 8 plan, they did not count these amongst their battleships. But they still were in service. Satsuma here was about 480 foot long. She was slightly faster than previous Japanese battleships at 18¼ knots. She had a crew of 800, although she could support up to 950 if used as a flagship. And she was a little over 19,000 tons. Now, one benefit, since Eki was not launched right away, they were able to integrate new technology, such as steam turbines, into her, which meant when she was commissioned in 1911, she was quite faster. She could get up to 20 knots, and she weighed a little bit more at a hair over 20,000 tons, and was a little bit longer at about 490 feet. Also, her secondary and tertiary armament was changed slightly from Satsuma. While both ships were available for World War I, they really didn't do much of anything. They helped some occupation forces for German colonies, did some patrol duties, but that was about it. And then when the Washington Naval Treaty came about, Japan had way too much tonnage in their navy, and they had to cut many ships. And since these were considered obsolete compared to newer ships like the Konga, they were quickly disarmed in 1922 and then hauled out as target hulks in 1924, and both were sunk in September of 1924, including by members of the Konga class. practicing their gunnery training. Not exactly an auspicious end to Japan's first battleship, built in-country. I mean, she only served for, well, Satsuma served for barely over a decade, and Aki served for actually just under a decade, truth be told. But it did give Japan needed experience and allowed them to grow as a naval power. And it's kind of interesting to see a semi-dreadnought. Most countries obviously didn't do this, but by the time these were scrapped in the 20s, the dreadnought concept itself was outdated into what are known as super dreadnoughts, and so on and so forth. So neither ship saw any use in World War II, except maybe as a reef for fish. But yeah, this is another 1,100 scale diecast model from Eaglemoss's Warships collection. And yeah, there you have it. By the way, Satsuma and Aki are more considered half-sister ships because the Aki was quite a bit different. It had a little bit different performance than Satsuma. So even though they're officially the same class, really, Aki is its own little subclass. Just a little thing there. Alrighty, folks, I appreciate you tuning in. If you could, like, share, and subscribe, and please tune in again next time. This is Misha. Thank you very much.